Yes, lads, what is going on? And welcome to Season 2, Episode 29 of the Little Running Irishman podcast. A few little things, just minor things before we jump into this week's episode of the podcast. Obviously, there wasn't an episode this Thursday of the podcast. One, didn't get around to getting a guest on. Two, I had a few tests. And three, I just caught up with studying, school and running. This Thursday, there will be an episode, but there will be a pretty big guest, and a pretty big guest for a number of reasons, but one reason in particular is that it's going to be our first female guest on the podcast. Now, there is going to be a way for you to listen to this or watch this episode of the podcast early. That's going to be through Patreon. I have spoke about Patreon before on the podcast and over on the Little Running Irishman official Instagram, but unfortunately, no one has yet signed up, and that is probably because I haven't posted anything on there yet. I did say I was going to wait for people to actually sign up to it and then start posting things onto it, but I feel like when I start posting things and more important things, people will end up signing up to it, and this is going to be the first thing that will be going live on my Patreon account, whichever way possible, even if it's just to watch it or listen to it, or if it will either be one of those, whichever works best. You can watch it or listen to it. It will be over on Patreon next Tuesday at 5 p.m. The latest episode of the podcast, next week's episode, usually the Thursday's episode, will be live on a Tuesday. For all you guys that sign up to the Patreon. And yeah, as I said, there are 3 deals. There's this €5, a €7 and a tenner deal. In any of the deals, you get early access to all episodes of the podcast and future videos over on YouTube. So, if you want to be one of the first people to watch or listen to Thursday's episode of the podcast, which I'm hyping up right now because she's an Irish guest. She's been over in America. She's been, in the realm of world-class athletes within the running world. And as I said, she will be the first female guest on the podcast. So yeah, if you guys want to be able to be in with the chance to listen to that podcast early, head over to the Little Running Irishman over on Patreon. Sign up. All the links will be down in the description and in the show notes. And you'll be able to be one of the first people to listen or watch that episode of the podcast. If some people start signing up to it and it starts getting a little bit more attention, I will end up full-time putting all of some of the episodes over on the Patreon. So guys, make sure to sign up over there because there are things coming in the future over there. And it won't only just be future episodes of the podcast and YouTube videos. There'll be also exclusive episodes of the podcast over there as well. As I said, all links down in the description below and in the show notes, so make sure to check that out. Another thing is, next Thursday we'll be having a big giveaway. So the giveaway will be in next week's episode of the podcast. Okay, the way I'll be doing it is it'll be like the first. Depending on how much of the product I get, it'll be that certain amount of people. So just say I get 5 things to give away. It'll be the first 5 people to enter will be getting the products. Okay, so hear me out. So, that means if you sign up to the Patreon, that means you will have a 99% chance of winning this giveaway. It's nothing huge, but it's a really cool giveaway. And yeah, so guys, make sure to sign up to the Patreon. So 1, you'll be early access to next Thursday's episode of the podcast, which will be going live on Tuesday. And second of all, and that episode will be a very interesting one, as it'll be our first female guest, as I said. And second of all, the giveaway that I will be doing next week will be announced in that episode. So the first 5 people, just say if I get 5 of the products, will be the winners of that giveaway. So to have a 99% chance of winning, sign up to the Patreon. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Big things happening next week. And yeah, so without further ado, that's pretty much all I have to say before jumping into this week's episode of the podcast. So let's get it done. Monday was a rest day, obviously. On Tuesday, it was 4 degrees Celsius at 70% humidity. And I was saying actually that I might start running again on a Monday, but I'm not sure about that. I think I might just... Obviously, it's less time on the feet without running on a Monday, but it just sets me up nicely for Tuesday's session. So I'm not sure. I'll be getting back to you all on that one. But Tuesday was 5 degrees Celsius at 70% humidity. It was again a 14 by 400 meters session. And we done a 15-minute jog, warm-up, stretches and strides. We averaged 73 to 75. Every now and then getting a 76 and every now and then getting a 72. So it was a pretty good session with 15-minute jog cool down. It was lashing rain and it was pretty cold. So it wasn't the best conditions, but it was a decent session nonetheless. Comparing that to last Tuesday, was pretty much the exact same. 14 by 400 meters. At 74 to 76 seconds. So yeah, we averaged about the same there. Moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday was 6 degrees Celsius at 75% humidity. 45-minute recovery run after Tuesday's session. It was 8.38k at 5 minutes 23 seconds per kilometer, or 5.21 miles at 8 minutes 39 seconds per mile. Sorry guys, I've a bit of a sore throat, and the main reason for that is because last night I was actually playing Warzone with my mate and we got our first duo win, and yeah, so we're happy about that. So I just wanted to clear that up really quickly. So yeah, a decent run overall. Comparing that to last Wednesday was 8.64k. This Wednesday was 8.38k. So a bit slower and a bit less distance this week, because it was 5 minutes 13 seconds per kilometer last week at 5.37 miles. Sorry, 8 minutes 23 seconds per mile. So two decent enough Wednesday runs back to back. Moving on to Thursday, 50-minute run with my mate once again. It was also 9 degrees Celsius at 79% humidity. We did 9.48k at 5 minutes 19 seconds per kilometer, or 5.89 miles at 8 minutes 33 seconds per mile. Compared to last Thursday, was 9.74k at 8 minutes 20 seconds per kilometer, or 6.05 miles at 8 minutes 35 seconds per mile. Two good Thursday runs with my mate again, back to back. Next Thursday I will not be able to compare runs because we are doing a 3k time trial on the track, which is going to hurt. Obviously we're doing it on the track. I've mentioned this in a previous episode of the podcast. Basically, yeah, we've done the 5k on the path, and my coach just wants to change things up a bit, and you don't usually ever see a 3k on the road. 3k isn't ran a lot, but if it is ran, it is ran on the track, so that's why we're doing it on the track. And also we've been doing a few track sessions as well, so just to get that bit of speed and leg turnover. And Nick, my coach, was saying that basically from all the hill work and the grubby work that we've been doing on the grass and building up the strength, we should be doing pretty good on Thursday, so fingers crossed. I'm a little bit nervous for it, but Tuesday session, which obviously I'll talk about next week, will help a little bit with that as well. So fingers crossed. So big things happening next week, guys. I'll round it all up at the end of the episode, but big things happening next week over the 2 episodes of the podcast. So guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on, or give me a follow over on the Little Running Irishman official Instagram, because big things are happening. So yeah, good Thursday run. Moving on to Friday, we had a rest day. I went out with my mates, and I watched the toy show for anyone living in Ireland, and I also done a little bit of foam rolling. Moving on to Saturday. Saturday morning was 7 degrees Celsius at 85% humidity. We done 5 by 1200 meters, and it was a really bad session. As of Saturdays, I don't know, me and the lads, we just don't like the Saturday sessions. We just never usually feel good. Some of the lads do, but most of us don't usually feel good on a Saturday session. Yeah, so we done 5 by 1200 meters. It was we done a 15-minute jog, warm-up, stretches, and then strides. We done a 4:25, a 4:30, a 4:35, a 4:40, 4:37, and then a 4:32. Really slow, really bad session. The ground once again wasn't in a good condition. But yeah, like, it was just a bad session. Didn't feel great. And as I said, the ground was in good condition. Comparing that to last Saturday, I should say. Last Saturday we done a 6 by 1k, and we got about the same times for the 5 by 1200 than we did for the 6 by 1k. If anything, we done slower on the 6 by 1k, which is not bad at all in comparison. But last week was a really bad session. The first one was 4:35, the second one was 4:40, then a 4:38, then a 4:42, then a 4:39, then a 4:35. So yeah, 2 bad Saturday sessions back to back, but we'll put them to bed, and we'll move forward. And then we done a 15-minute jog cool down after the session on Saturday. Moving on to this morning, it was 11 degrees Celsius at 89% humidity. I done 13.70k at 5 minutes 29 seconds per kilometer, or 8.51 miles at 8 minutes 50 seconds per mile. Decent run. I went slow. Comparing that to last Sunday was a 13.66k at 5 minutes 31 seconds per kilometer, or 8.49 miles at 8 minutes 53 seconds per mile. Total kilometers this week was 43.16k, and the total miles was 26.81 miles. Last week was 43.64k at 27.11 miles. So pretty even over the past 2 weeks. Now, question of the week this week is, how do I think the time trial will go? I can't really remember how I done in the last 3k over the races we had over last track season. If you remember those, I think it was about a 10:20, which isn't great by any means, but I was really unfit at the time because I'd just come back from a break. So if I could break 10, I think I would be happy with that. Yeah, I think, because think of it, if I'm doing 75s, just say, for 400s, that's a 5-minute mile. So that's 4 laps. So I don't know. I think if I break 10 and we average maybe about 70 seconds per lap, there is a chance I can break 10. It will be from the last 3k I done on the track. It hurt a lot, and it is pretty grueling event, especially if you go out too fast, because it can just mess you up completely. And 7.5 laps isn't a short distance by any means. And I know I was talking about, we were doing all the strength training and everything, but, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm kind of waffling here a little bit. I'm not sure if I want to be able to break 10, but again, we haven't got a lot of track work in, and with me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of track. Yeah, right. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna be trying to break 10 in on Thursday. Maybe I'll absolutely demolish that. I'm not too sure because I'm not too familiar on the 3k personally. Maybe I will absolutely demolish 10 minutes, or maybe I won't break 10 minutes. So we'll have to see. Make sure to stay tuned for next week, for both Thursday's and Sunday's episode of the podcast. Thursday's episode, as I said, will be going live on Tuesday, over on Patreon, and you'll be entered into the giveaway earlier if you subscribe to the Patreon. As I said, all links down in the description and in the show notes. Also, next Sunday you will hear how we're doing in the 3k time trial on the track. hopefully I can do well. Hopefully I can stick up the top with the lads. We will have to wait and see. I'm not too sure. But hopefully I can. And as I said, hopefully I will be able to break. Hopefully I'll be able to break 10. We'll just have to wait and see. Guys, I've also been very active over on TikTok lately. It's just Little Running Irishman. Go over, give me a follow, give me a thumbs up, like my videos. This again is a short episode of the podcast, as most of the Sundays are. Next week will probably be a bit longer just because of the 3K time trial and what I'll be talking about there. But if enough people sign up to the Patreon, also these episodes will be going live over there every single week. So make sure to be signed up over there because big things coming and happening on the Patreon. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the podcast. If you did, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, leave a like, go back and listen or watch the previous episodes of the podcast or previous videos on the channel. If you listen to the podcast, follow me over on the Little Running Irishman official Instagram to be notified when every podcast goes live on whatever podcast app you listen to. Guys, I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you all next time. Bye.